we have a couple people from his dojo who are welcome to say something about Dave. Just to give you some brief background about him, Dave started off as an Aikido and karate person back before the 1990s. And then in the 1990s started getting into jiu-jitsu, Budishin jiu-jitsu, with, I think, total focus, working with such sensei as Dick Labb, Reggie Hefner, and then a couple familiar names, Dennis McCurdy and Terry Philemeyer. And I know we've worked, I started off with Dennis at the Towson Y over 20 years ago. Terrific instructors, and I remember Dave being there from the very beginning. He thereafter founded at Anne Arundel Community College. He founded a dojo there that he ultimately named Kaiwan Budokai, which means Bay Area Martial Arts School because of its proximity to the Chesapeake Bay. He had a lot of success in coaching students for competition. I was surprised to hear because Dave, I didn't realize he was that interested in competition, but a couple of his students won gold at the North American Grappling Association tournament. He also taught jiu-jitsu at George Kirby's, I guess it's semi-annual summer Camp Budishin out in California. Then he got very involved in the AJA and filled a number of roles there. He was newsletter editor, vice president, a number of other roles, and ultimately was elected president of the AJA in 2015 and then chairman in 2016. I would say it's hard really confining Dave's achievements to one thing, but he did start instituting background checks before head sensei could join the AJA. And a few of us were talking the other night about the unfortunate and amazing things that background checks, criminal background checks can turn up. And I think he did a tremendous service to the AJA, finding out people who may have a history of abusing children or other aggressive domestic violence tendencies. And that's a wonderful achievement. As dark as that need is, I think it was a vital one that he got covered there. He also revised the Constitution comprehensively back in 2007 and last year in 2023, and I was part of that. And that's Dave's thing. He was very intellectually inclined, an excellent writer, and he excelled in drafting that and other documents and refining them so they're very coherent. Anybody, we have a constitution. The AJA has it's about 10 pages long. I'm not sure everyone reads it religiously, but Dave has turned it into a much more readable, coherent document. The AJA will be starting an award in Dave's honor. Now that he's passed away, we've been talking about it for months, but it's going to recognize one either student or sensei who has outstanding jiu-jitsu abilities, technical abilities, as well as high ethical caliber. Structure the award and what sorts of evidence we'll be looking for of ethical behavior and good activity like that.
All right, so everyone can gather around here. I'm going to focus on a box cutter first. Just beware, it's just a touch on a little dull side. But I want you to be able to feel that it's actually there rather than, no, I can't feel it because it's so dull, I don't know where it is. So he's going to hold it. Rather than having the classic face-to-face stuff, he's already going to be here. Because I didn't pay attention. I was on my phone walking on the street, and he just walked up and did this. I feel the blade here, so I want to make sure it's there, so I want to push on it. And since he's pushing on it, I know that it's a blade. Because if he just has it hovering, I won't know that he has something there. If he has it here, I might just assume it's just a hand, not an actual blade, because I can't see that. So as your uke, I do want them to have it so you can feel the blade, right? So I'm caught off guard. He's got my arm between his chest. First thing I will do is I'm going to immediately grab. And notice how I step out. I go into his legs here, and then I come and grab here and there. And I follow up here. Okay? I'm not paying attention, blah, blah, blah. I'm not paying attention about that either. And then this is, oh, I'm caught off guard. Immediately here, stepping in, grabbing this. Enough to come down. You know what to do from here. Everyone has a general sense of what to do, right? Oh, it's still here. Okay. We're just going to do just that one for right now, okay? I've got enough box cutters in here for most people. Anyone need to see that again? Yes? You guys can come closer. You don't have to be so far away. So he's grabbed. The uke has their arm around me. It's not just dangling, it's grabbed. I want to feel the pressure on this arm. This and this at the same time. Going into him. Boom. There. Down, whatever you need to do. Okay? Any questions? All right. Pair off with relativity and height, and some of the black belts, if you can also help out as well. We've got enough around here to help out. No, you need box cutters for this particular technique. I only want box cutters used because that's the technique that this is what it's for, is box cutter. How do you guys want to do it? Got plenty of space on the mat, spread out. So what I had originally predicted or had thought, and when I do this motion here, he steps back. Just move your leg back.
This one?
Yes. Okay. He steps back. Where do I go from here? Because I had my sweep, he stepped too quickly, and I couldn't get it. Well, now I just go in for a throw. Ooh. Okay? I wouldn't worry about the box cutter cutting you because it's so shifted out. It's out of the way. Go ahead. He's got this grab here immediately this way. I step. Oh, he stepped back already. I got to come in here. Notice where the box cutter is. It's pinned to my chest. And I throw. Now I have this. Now it's up to you guys, black belts. If you want to take the knife out, or if you want to call the police while you're here, because this is a good position to be in. All right, it's up to you guys and what your dojos do. Okay? Any questions about that throw? Need to see it again? Yes, please. So he does the same thing we just did. He's got this around, pin my arm, down, step. Oh, he steps out of the way because I can feel the leg move under here. Shift, and throw. Okay? Got it?
Okay. All right. I'm a little louder than the last predecessor. You have to, I'm not mad at you. I just talk loud. Also, firearms instructor. Say what? Oh, the knives. Gee, what, you want me to get back? He said he's going to charge you with theft if you do not have the knives back. Yeah. Any more? All right. So we're going to start it. Okay. my big thing is all about practicality. All this stuff is artsy-fartsy stuff. It's cool, great. You should know it. Definitely for mind, body, and spirit, all that. But it doesn't mean a hill of beans if you cannot do it out there, right? That's what it's all about. Self-defense, okay? All right? So when I also teach for some of the intro level for law enforcement and the academy stuff, we talk about some of the principles of the OODA loop, disrupting the patterns of the body by slight taps. That has to be big hard strikes all the time. Simple little pushes here and there, tap here and there. And my theory I like to work on all the time is 2-on-1. And I will demonstrate here in a minute with 2-on-1. So we're going to work on 2-on-1, okay? The thing everybody needs to understand, action is always going to be faster than reaction. You can train, you can prepare yourself mentally, quick reflexes, all that stuff. But you're at best, you may be able to match that for force, okay? But action is always going to beat reaction. If somebody goes to punch you, the best you can do is hopefully you can slow the energy down and direct it around you, because your reaction speeds are never going to be as quick as the unknown, okay? Everybody understand that principle? The action is always going to be faster than a reaction, okay? So I always have my students, whether I'm teaching here or even in firearms, all that stuff in the police academy, all that stuff, okay? Get in the habit of, when you're talking, have your hands up, okay? Because we're going to win by default. If your hands are already up, you already cheated half that distance to protect your face, protect your body, okay? Everybody accuses me of being Italian. I am not, okay? But I talk with my hands. This is how I talk. Even when I'm in uniform, this is how I talk to people, okay? Because it's also a good way of saying, hey, I don't want any problems. My hands are up, fingers spread out there, all kinds of things. Hey, take it easy. I hear what you're saying. Work through this. My hands are up, okay? At the same time my hands are up, I'm doing it now, I don't know if you noticed, but I've dropped my center of gravity about 1 inch. I'm walking around with knees bent, okay? I'm not walking up proud. Knees are bent. I'm relaxed, okay? All these things are going to help you quicken your reaction time, okay? Because again, action's always faster than reaction, okay? All right, so the first one we're going to do, we're talking here, we'll lay it all around. All right, so we're talking here, and he grabs my wrist, okay? It's the first thing, he grabs my wrist. That's an assault. So as soon as that happens, as soon as that thing does, I want you to tell yourself, first time that comes out, first thing we're going to do, strike right off the bat. He's already broken that plane. He's already caused it, okay? Boom, strike. Now here comes the 2-on-1 theory. 1, 2, one of these, okay? We're going to use this arm, and we're going to rip that across I'm going to step back. I'm going to rip that across my body, pull it real hard, and both hands, 2-on-1. Let me go across. My elbow goes just across his body here, and I grab right around the wrist, round, over, and I'm going to rip him right down to me. That's it. 2-on-1, okay? So as soon as I hear talking, hey, I don't want problems, center of gravity, strike, grab, rip it, work that down. Drive it all the way down. I'm keeping pressure on the wrist, pulling on the wrist, my elbow's basically right below his elbow. He lets go of me, it doesn't matter, I don't care, but I'm still pressing down my forearm and lock it down. Okay? Quick and easy, all right? Okay. All right, same way when you do your Code of Garami, stuff like that. All right, when you do this, you're pulling the elbow in, but you have to keep this arm bent, okay? Keep this arm bent at least 90 degrees or more, okay? Because if it's longer, then it becomes more of a wrestling match type thing, okay? Arm's bent, he got nothing for me. He's bent, his arm's bent, he got nothing for me, okay? But keep it tighter this is, the better off you're going to be, okay? All right, so the arm is nice and tight, nice tight angle, okay? Because if it gets out here, then it starts to get down, and then we can go all kinds of ways. All right, so that's the whole purpose of pulling the elbow to my center of gravity, right in here. At this point here, there is nothing he can try to grab me, try to kick me, do whatever you want to do. Headbutt me, I don't care. What I have is kazoosh, okay? All right, thanks. All right. All right, now we do the grabs. Okay, now we're going to do a straight punch first, and we're going to do a round, haymaker type thing. Okay, so our hands are up. Okay, we're still going to have the 2-on-1. Our hands are up. We're talking. Hey, let's say you're upset. Hey, man. He says, I don't care. He's going to punch me straight in the nose. Okay, I'm going to parry, grab, and then we're going to go right all over, down, get my elbow here. We're going to go all over, and it's a hishigi. I'm pulling this hand again, and I'm driving my elbow right in the top of the tricep. Down it goes. Right up in there. Okay? But the thing is, the front hand is going to do it. If you try to do the back hand, you're going to get tagged in the nose. So hands are out there. I'm already bladed. I'm already got my knees bent. Heads up. Pair. 1, 2, drive down. You can stop right there if you want to. Doesn't matter. Okay? But it's 2-on-1, and we win from the punches are already up there. Very simple. Pass over. Okay? Everybody want to see it again? Or good? Or what? Sure. Okay? Hands are up. Pass over. Hook it. And because this way here, if he's really fast, he's slowing down for me now. Somebody punches you in the nose. The whole idea is to be able to wrap it 2-on-1. I don't want this hand to go back to come back at me again. Okay? Right. How's it? Now, second one is going to be hands are up, and he's going to throw a Murakami roundhouse punch to us, okay? So we're same thing, hands are up, Tanagashi, cover up. Now, he's close to me here, okay? Now, I'm already, because my knees are already bent, I'm going to fire straight out my elbow, bam! If I hit the chest, I hit the neck, I don't really care, okay? Because I'm going to swim over top of it, slide my hand down, trying to go slow so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, slide my hand down, and I stay up by the shoulder, okay? I turn the palm away from me and squeeze it. It's like a waki and urishigi combined here. I pull the step around. His elbow should be to my stomach here, elbow here, and down he goes. Okay? So I'm controlling the elbow, the shoulder, controlling the shoulder up high. I'm not worried about the elbow because the elbow is in the real world. He starts tugging and pulling. I slide down into the elbow, and then we go around. Different things, okay? So basically, it's what it is, yeah. Modified waki usually at the same time, okay? So up high, round, but the key is to roll the palm away from you so I can put his elbow into my body here. And then when I step around, I have a lock and a lock. Okay? All right? So, what are we going to do here? Okay. All right, hands are up. Roundhouse punch. Elbow up, strike. Step in, tap the shoulder, grab the hand, spin around, and I'm pressing, pull this back, and I'm squeezing this to my hip. Okay? All right. Okay. The elbow. Okay? I step in. As it lets me to chap the shoulder, okay? And it also puts his center of gravity behind him where he can't, like you said, you talked about, can't really counter. I step in, pitching the shoulder, and then around. Okay? All right? Because it keeps him off balance. The whole idea is to get him off balance.
Hi, everyone. All right. You can move in a little bit to get started. The good news is I will not be doing any throws today. That's the good news. For those who don't know, I had a total knee replacement, so I will not be doing throws because I don't feel comfortable throwing people right now. So a lot of this is going to be escapes, easy escapes. We're going to explain the first set to you. You will see same hand grabs. Then you're going to do top grabs. We're just going through the grabs right now just to show you the grabs, okay? From the top grab, then it's cross grab. From there, you have a double grab. And then you have, did we have two? Yeah, we had two hand grabs, okay? So there's a lot of grabs, but again, these are simple, nice escapes Don't have to go into anything detailed. When you practice these, I want a little bit of tension because I want you to feel the grab. I want you to feel the release that you have to do, to work. Any questions? I want everybody on this side, if you could, because then we're going to go this way.
Yes.
And that way they can see. Yeah. Okay. Just so you can see the grab and the movement of the first one from the same hand grab, all you're going to do, slightly take your shoulder and roll. So you're going to point your thumb into your own belt. That wasn't much at all. Again, where's the weakest part of the hand? Thumb and first finger. Okay, a little harder grip, just to show you. Out. That's what I want. I want a little bit of tension so you can feel the difference. Okay, that was the first one. We're going to do the first three because they're easy. All right, don't have to step with the first one. You lean in a little bit, but as you do, escape. The second one, you're going to lean into the body a little more. You're going to come up and a turn. Look what I have, folks. He's in close where I need to be. Okay, so again, first, coming in. Second, lean in, turn. We're not going to add anything right now unless we, time-wise. The third one, you've all seen these. You're going to open your fingers. Look what you have. Again, these are close contact. In. If I need to finish, I can follow through. Nope, I'm not going to do it. Any questions? There's 17 of these. So some of my students are here, and I think, well, you're busy. We'll walk around and help if you need it. But the first three are pretty easy. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, any questions? Okay, so pair off. Give yourself a little room. Now, the top of the hand, we'll show you how he's grabbing on top. This is more like if he's coming on the side. Okay? Now, oh, I remember this one. I'm going to step back with the right foot. At the same time, which direction I'm going? This way. Because I'm escaping. So it's like a sharp turn, up. Like a half moon. Step back, up. Everybody see it? Got it? So he's here, step back, up. Again, watch. Coming down, turn, out. So you've got to use your shoulder. Out, turn. Everybody got it? And at the same time, again, you're moving out of his distance and your center is protected. Any questions with that one? So we go to the next one. That's the elbow. Now, he's holding on. All you're going to do is take this right elbow. You see what I did there? Right there. All I'm doing is he's going to hold on. You're blocking him here, down, and you've got a back fist into the face. Can you guys see that one? One more time. So block. I'm going to make sure I don't go too close. Now, the next one is we'll do it in 2 steps for you. You're going to go say hi, step away. Okay, we'll go this way this time so you guys can see. Hi, push. So you've got some distance again. And yes, if I'm here, can I do something else? Yeah, his back is to me. He's got lots of things you can do from here if you need to. But all I want to concentrate on right now is just the escapes. Any questions on those 3? I'm trying to do them in 3s because it's all the same hand, so it's not so confusing. Got it? All right. All right, pair off. We'll walk around and help if we need to. I don't want to rush or confuse anybody. Because at the end, we're going to do them all together. All right, everybody on this side again. Sorry. Cross grab, right? Okay. Look, I got us. I don't know where we're going to go. We'll see everybody. Okay. All right, now cross grab. And there's 4 of these. All right. First one is, you're going to come up. See what I did? Up, turn. turn. Okay, any questions on that one? Cross grab, you're gonna come up, circle round. You notice what turns? I'm pivoting, so my side is to him. Okay, up, turn. And again, this is another move we've done in the previous, but again, it's from a different setup. So this time you're going toward the face. And what does that do? That also pushes him backwards than if I need to. Any questions with those two? All right, we're gonna go on. Next, pretend you got a teacup in your hand. You're gonna turn this right leg and pivot around. At the same time, you're gonna do a sharp turn. And I'm not pivot on the right because I'm not sure that yet. So you're gonna turn out, okay? So I will try stepping back, turn. Everybody got it? So you're twisting, turn. Look where your hand is shaped. So you've already escaped from it. And then the fourth one is my favorite, saw. Okay? Circle round, saw down. What am I doing different? Also forcing him that way, I'm lunging forward because he's right where I want him. Okay? Any questions? Want to see those four again? Okay. Let's turn this way now so they can see. All right, so you're coming up, high, shooting back. Okay, and again, practice, watch your form. Again, if I have to, from here, I won't do it now, I can kick. So you have to be aware of how they're moving. Up, over, push. Second one is to the face, pushing through. This one, again, I'm going to try to pivot. I'm going to turn. See? All right. Pivot with the right foot if you can. Turn. You're turning out from his, again, the thumb and first finger. The last one, you're going to come up, saw down. Make sure when you do this, the hand, look where I'm hitting. That bone, saw. Any questions? Okay. There's 17, wait a minute. I'm going to go through the one through the face. Okay. Make sure you're lunging. As you're going in, you're dropping. From here, I can do a lot of things, so he's wide open. Is that what you want? Is that enough? All right. I'm going to get to. All right, pair off. We'll walk around and help if we need to. Because you're going to do all 17. Now, we'll help you. Next four is from a double grab. Can you guys see all right? Whew. Let's go this way so they can see the arm. You're using your elbow. This time you're going straight in, but as you do, you're coming in to release. Okay? Step in, shoot down. That will release. Second one, you're coming up. Look at the hand, down. Forcing his arms down, up, down. You're also trapping from here. Okay? First two again. Come in, shoot down. Second one, you're coming up, shooting down the arms. That's the difference, is that hand comes up and shoots down. Again, the same one, you're coming up to the face this time. Again, my elbow's in his chest. Fourth one, reach in. Okay? Any questions? Want to see him again? Okay. Is it hot in here? Shooting down. Look where my elbow is. Oh, right in the stomach. Okay. Up. What, hitting him? They know me already with you. Coming up, down. Again, look, I'm trapping here. Okay. Third one, shooting up. I can add more from here. You're gonna reach in, make a fist, grab your own fist. Oh, sorry. Okay? Ready? All right, pair off. Are turning outward, okay? So you're coming up, pushing through. So they're in like this. So you come up, pivot. right? Second one, I call it heaven and earth. Your hand is coming up. This hand is out, cross body. And again, watch your form. Pushing through, up, push. The third one, it's almost like the one we just did, except you're going off to the side, your hands are up, pivot. Okay? Got it? Want to see them again? Okay. All right. So you're coming up, turn out, push. So you're going right into his face. Second one is you're coming up, hands up, push. If you notice the hand that's coming up, watch his wrist. Look, it's pushing outward. So I'm just going the direction that the hand is going. Third one, from the end, coming straight across the body. I'm not doing nothing but pushing through. Pat on his left, one of his shoulders, okay? Hey, let's try it. Number 2. Number 3. Switch your setup. That's right, it's pull away. Now, what's this one? Back.
4.
5. That's the one you were confused on, yeah. Okay.
Number 5.
5. Everybody got 5? Chicken wing? Okay.
Swallow.
Hello, goodbye. Up, back through. Should be another grip.
Almost totally goodbye.
Okay. Ready? So I'm coming up, back.
Cross grab now.
Your cross grab. Watch. Come up and back. It's okay. Up. She's frustrated. Come through. I'm just watching her. You have it? What's next? This one. No, this
Face.
face. That's right. So his face. Face.
Teacup.
Teacup is next. My favorite. We still confused. Where are we at? And one
8
more.
was face if you missed it.
Yeah, the
No.
8 was the face. Spinning out
For teacup.
for teacup.
Number 9.
That's the saw.
10.
Saw. No, I'm just. Everybody caught up? Then it's the double. Yeah. Okay, this time you're going into over the arm, down, block. We already did the saw. You missed it. Okay? You're going to go up on the second one. Remember? Go up, down. Everybody caught up?
Face.
Face. Next one, you're going to come in,
Yes.
reach fist, pull up. Okay? It's hard to see everybody. Okay. Double grab now. We're near the end. Okay?
Face.
Face. Coming in. Face. Heaven and earth, you're going to go up, through. And the last one, over the shoulder. Switch partners real quick.
We can all, I'm going to stand here or act here. So gather around, you make a circle, stand on the sides if you'd like. Okay. Okay, we've got some administrative people back there not joining this, but that's cool. Anybody have experience in any form of Japanese swordsmanship? There's somewhat. What's your background? Ah, so you said Yaito? Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm experienced with it.
Good. I'm doing Iaido, not Iai Jutsu, but slight distinction. Anyone else with sword experience? Yeah. We'll see a lot of other bladed weapons this afternoon. Generally, jiu-jitsu people will be familiar with a bokken. I first saw this in class with Hanshi McCurdy, probably nearly 20 years ago when I started doing jiu-jitsu. This is the bokken is a substitute or a training weapon to be used in place of a steel katana. I remember Sensei or Hanshi McCurdy with Sensei Philomeyer in class introduced this bokken as a way of talking about correct stance in jiu-jitsu and how there's a reflection of jiu-jitsu stances in Japanese swordsmanship. So that was part of my interest developing in this. You'll see this. I have a line here that I drew in magic marker here as a guide to the correct place to cross swords with your opponent as you're doing swordsmanship. So Hanshi McCurdy demonstrated some of this over several classes, and I got very interested in Japanese swordsmanship in general, and pursued what's called Iaido. I know there's one person here with some experience in Iaido. Has anyone heard of Iaido? Anyone care? Give me a definition, or anyone give it? It's well, way of the sword is kendo. Would be more literally way of ken is sword, do is way in Japanese. Iaido is related to kendo very closely. Kendo is fencing with essentially bamboo poles, which are called shinai. But you're right that's literally the way of the sword. Iaido is more abstract. It means the way of mental presence and immediate reaction. So, to make a very long, complicated story short, over the course of time in Japan, there developed hundreds and hundreds of schools of swordsmanship. Going into the 19th century, it was a very big transitional period for Japan. The Meiji Restoration in 1868, when samurai, so actually start with that. I'm dressed as, what am I wearing? Hakama, right. This is not a skirt. I say somewhat defensively. There is a hakama that's not divided, but this is a divided one. So it's technically pantaloons or something, but they're not. It's not strictly speaking like a woman's skirt. Why would this be divided? You think? Why would this have, instead of just having the skirt-like open feature? Why would this? If I were dressed as a samurai, what relevance could that have to something I do? Horseback riding, right. Samurai are analogous to European knights in that they started off fighting on horseback, and they were essentially a hereditary warrior class and highly influential for centuries. My dates are not going to be accurate, but for many hundreds of years, at least 1500, and was when they started gaining real prominence. But during the Meiji Restoration in 1868, what happened? The West started providing input, and Western technology came to Japan, making swordsmanship not the ideal way of defending yourself or staging battles against each other or external enemies. So this was a period of crisis for the samurai, who spent centuries developing their swordsmanship skills. In 1868, the rights or the privileges of samurai were totally removed, so that Western ways had come in and displaced this ancient warrior tradition. You'll see, this is my certificate from my Iaido first dan certificate, and you'll notice it's not from an Iaido organization. It's the All United States Kendo Federation. Kendo is by far the more popular martial sport. It's got about 20 times the number of people pursuing Kendo as a competitive sport. In Japan, there are about 2 million people who do Kendo, compared with 100,000 people who do Iaido. But Iaido developed. Anyone can think of a reason why Iaido might have got some traction? If you're fencing with bamboo poles, what are you missing in that whole experience? What's that? Yeah, and more extensively, the entire experience of a real Japanese sword. You're fencing with poles that aren't shaped like katana. They're straight, and hence techniques are much different using these bamboo poles than you would use with a curved katana and with a steel weapon. So these top Japanese sword authorities went to the top several swordsmanship schools and got their top techniques, got expert panels together and said, what are the core teachings we want to show of actual swordsmanship with the katana? And another piece of Japanese history, what happened in 1945 after we defeated Japan? Anyone know what happened to the martial arts in Japan? Yeah. And even more broadly, many martial arts were outlawed entirely at the end of World War II because of the spirit of Bushido. Is that word familiar? It's the warrior spirit, way of the warrior. Bushido was blamed for developing a lot of Japanese militarism, sort of beginning in the 19th century, but definitely during World War II. Japanese leaders emphasized the warlike qualities of martial arts training. Western leaders recognized that, and their solution was to ban it entirely at the end of World War II. And it took many years for that ban to be entirely lifted. I think it's 1952 that the main sword organization was formed. But before that, it was martial arts were seen as something that are just there to sort of cultivate a belligerent spirit and the spirit of attacking aggressively other countries and that kind of amoral quality that they wanted to get rid of. So in 1952, this organization was founded to emphasize the Do side, or the path-like side of martial arts. Any younger person know what Do means, or in something like Judo or Iaido? Do means path. So, what's that? Yes. So in Jiu-Jitsu, we have the Jitsu part of it means technique or activity, whereas Do is much more spiritual or abstract. You're on a path to self-betterment, self-improvement, enlightened spirituality, whereas Jiu-Jitsu or Jitsu, that prefix or that suffix, is more geared to just pure technique without as much of a spiritual dimension. And that's how Iaido developed as part of this whole emphasis on finding a way. And another example is Judo, which takes the Ju of Jiu-Jitsu and the Do as path and offers a path rather than just pure technique. In the case of Judo, it became a sport, but Aikido is another example. This idea of a pathway that's not purely realistic or technical. So anyway, that's a little long-winded description of how Iaido developed. The parts of the tools of Iaido, I'll start by talking about the saya, which is a scabbard. And this is, and none of these swords I have are especially high-end. They're halfway decent and safe, but they're not anything like extremely high-end antique swords or even really good modern swords, which can run very easily into the thousands, tens of thousands. The blades alone can be incredibly expensive. But this is a saya, which is made of wood. And you'll see it's got this crest. A lot of the equipment you'll get with Iaido will come with these samurai crests. This one is It's ivy, and it's from the Matsunaga clan, which they were daimyo back around 1600. And you'll see this with different pieces of equipment. They'll take some famous samurai clan and stick their crest on it. Samurai were about between 5 and 10% of the population of Japan, depending on what era we're talking about. And they were hereditary military aristocracy. They're a substantial part of the population, and they were very dominant over other parts of Japanese society. And a lot of samurai have, now that they're not engaging in combat occupations, they've often taken prominent places in Japanese society. They'll be leaders of industry. In World War II, many of them were high-ranking officers. On this, going back to this certificate, you'll notice that the name of the guy who signed it, the president of the All-U.S. Kendo Federation, is Arthur Murakami. Murakami is the samurai name. You can identify kami as one suffix, yama is another common one, but Arthur is evidently descended from a samurai family, and he's kept up the interest in martial arts and gained some prominence himself. So we go from the saya. If you look at the mouth of the saya, it's called koi guchi. Koi is what do you think of when I mention koi, just in daily life? Fish. Yeah, it's a carp. Koi is Japanese for carp. You'll see them in fountains. They're common. They can grow very large. And the reason it's called koi guchi is it's shaped like a mouth of that fish, or I guess other fish, but it's that essential shape. And you imagine that shape being sort of like how you're using your hand to control the entry and exit of the blade into the saya. So you're imagining it's kind of a cartoonish opening and closing of the mouth of the fish, but it's vital for control of your sword. This cord is called a sageo, and it's a little frustrating when you start off doing iaido, because you're kind of stuck with it. You have to control it. You have to tie it correctly to your side. But it has great practical application in real fighting. The samurai would use it to tie the sleeves of their gis, and to open up space for their arms. They could also use it as a restraining device for defeated opponents. So it's got practical use. And samurai up until the Meiji Restoration wore two swords typically. Any idea? They wore a katana, and any idea what the other sword was called? Wakizashi. Wakizashi is about 2/3 the length of a katana. Typically, it would be able to be worn indoors, whereas a katana would often be frowned upon as an indoor, something you would carry indoors. It would be considered rude or off limits to be going into a palace with a katana. So a wakizashi was an alternative. This is commonly called a tanto, which just means short sword or dagger. You see these all the time for knife defense techniques. That, along with bokken, are probably the most common things we see in jiu-jitsu dojos. But they would sometimes wear tanto as an alternative to a wakizashi. And wearing two swords at the same time is called daisho. That the grouping of those two swords is daisho. Samurai were compelled, I think it was 1683, they were compelled to wear that as a defining quality. And only they could wear it. Commoners could not wear daisho. What else do you think a tanto might be handy for? Who's seppuku? You want to tell us what seppuku is, Eric? Right. It's also known as harakiri, and there's a lot of debate about there are few martial arts that generate as much internal fighting, because it's over stuff that's so obscure that people get into different arguments that seem nonsensical. But harakiri is sometimes seen as a vulgarism of seppuku, but the idea is the same. Harakiri is more literal. It's a cutting of the stomach. And if you were humiliated as a samurai in battle, it happened many times in World War II, a Japanese admiral might be defeated. You've heard examples of this. They'll go into some battle, lose to the United States, and even though they did everything right, it didn't turn out well. It wasn't negligence, it was the humiliation of losing, and they would commit seppuku. Seppuku is the ideal way of doing it, in my understanding, is to have an assistant where the person who's committing seppuku gets into seiza. You're familiar with seiza as our main sitting posture. They'll open up their gi and take a tanto. I think in some cases a wakizashi. You might be able to use a wakizashi, but that's a bit too long. They would write their death poem, and they would put the tanto into their abdomen and go from generally left to right. Some accounts you hear of going up and trying to cut major arteries. Then there is an artery that runs through there that can make the death as quick as possible, but it's excruciatingly painful just to stick a knife into your abdomen's a very sensitive place to have any kind of traumatic injury. So the ideal is to have an assistant by your side who's a good swordsman, who is standing a few feet away, and the second you stick your knife in, or your tanto, he'll behead you to minimize the pain, trauma of committing suicide. Sometimes it became entirely symbolic that you wouldn't even break skin. The person committing seppuku would just make the gesture to show that he's committing suicide. Then his assistant would behead him. So kind of a grim image, but it shows how suicide is conceived of entirely differently in Japanese and maybe some other Eastern cultures. Then it doesn't have nearly the implications that it might have for Christians who would think twice because of spiritual considerations. But it happened a lot at the end of World War II. So let me get to the real swords here. Not real. These are actually, there's the argument that bokken are real swords. Miyamoto Musashi, I know, arguably the most famous swordsman in Japanese history, was famous for winning at least one of his bouts against someone wielding a steel katana. And he used it wasn't only wood, it was wood that he carved out of an ore that he used on the boat to go meet his opponent in some island. And so it was quite humiliating, I'm sure, although the guy was killed, his opponent was killed. But it shows that this can do real damage. He killed the guy by hitting him in the head. The other guy, I guess, started an attack, and Musashi evaded that and struck him in the head with a bokken and killed him. So, anybody own katana? Okay. Are they decent? Are they wall hangers? Wall hangers would be a cheap one just kind of for looks. Yeah, yeah, sort of marginal about it. So I'll show you, I'll do a side by side. We're okay on time, so why don't you tell me which one is made in the traditional way, which is folding. You fold the metal that goes into creating these blades several times to get out impurities. What's that? Oh, okay. This is the real. Okay, that's the one. Okay. The other sword is made of stainless steel, and it's got some machine qualities. You'll see on the edge. There's a line of clouds. It looks like this wavy line that's present in all traditional swords. And both of these kind of have it, but one is machine made and the other is naturally made. Gotta look at that. Eric can tell from 15 feet away, a real versus, yeah, you see they're both about One is a bit shinier. I did shine this one the other day. You see that wavy line there? About half an inch from the edge. Yeah, it's considered a real aesthetic point in its favor. The beauty of the hamon on the blade, at the edge of the blade, is a real collector's issue. See that? It's kind of got a wavy, cloudy line there. See that? It's better if I just kind of move them around. And okay, so Eric's correct that this is the sharpened sword made in the traditional manner. This is a katana. This is an iaito, which means a sword used for the practice of iaido. And this is made, it's part steel, but it's more alloyed with other metals, and it's a little lighter than this. It's machine made. The wavy line is created by a machine, just running it through. This traditional sword had several periods of folding to get out impurities and increase the beauty of the blade. But then at the moment of hardening or quenching the sword, after it's been heated up, it's put into water. But before that, you have clay put on primarily the back end of the blade, the spine of the blade, and the edge is exposed instead of having clay on it, or it has a very, very thin film of clay. Why do you think they would do that? And what happens? Peter, you differential hardening? Exactly. So differential hardening is a process where you take thick clay and put it along the back in order to make it less hot through when it's in the flames. The edge is exposed, and that makes the edge harder. But if you made the entire blade hard, it would be much more brittle, more likely to break in the course of combat when you're making contact with other swords. So there's this sense of flexibility along with rigidity in the right places. So this is not an expensive sword. This is the cheapest sword I could find that's safe and was the right size. Like, this is how to measure a sword correctly. The ideal size is to have it at your right side and just miss hitting the ground with the point. It's much easier to deal with a shorter sword than a longer sword. And I've seen in testing people fail because of having a sword that's too short and is much more easy to manipulate. So that's a concern. That's the basic measuring. I have large hands for a vertically challenged person. So this has a large grip, which I was thrilled to find. Small grips, very difficult to wield. So this was perfect for me. I'll show you this sword. The hilt or the suka of any katana or any Japanese sword, including iaito, have one layer of this white stuff. It's a little hard to see, but it's this dimpled skin, and it's ray skin, as in manta ray or stingray. Specifically it's cowtail ray, which is common around Japan and other Asian countries. See that? There you go. So that's another essential piece of the sword. This part, the guard of the sword, it's called a suba, and in addition to protecting you if you're fighting with somebody, what else might it do? And it also, if you're in the heat of combat, it not only protects you from a sword coming toward you, but it prevents your hand from slipping onto the blade itself. and a very small suba could do that. You'll see this one. I'll show you both of them. They both have, yeah, this is why we're sitting close here. They have, the theme of this one is, actually both of them is waves. And you're looking at it from the, from the edge up perspective, because the sword is carried with its edge up. You've got, that's how the perspective works. See the waves going there. This one's a little more violent, has kind of violent waves, like a stormy sea. And there are innumerable types of themes. I mean, this is a common one: bamboo, different animals, dragons, tigers, common things. So those are the parts of the blades. In the interest of time, what I'll do is I'll go through some of the forms that are the general, the key central forms of what's called seite gata, which seite means standardized forms. And around this time, during World War II, there was the growth of interest in kendo, just fencing with bamboo poles. But there's also a sense of losing touch with the katana and the care of the katana, the spiritual qualities of the katana. It's sometimes described as the soul of the samurai. It's a venerated item throughout Japanese society, even if you're not a swordsman. So, given the number of schools of swordsmanship, there had to be some standardization and some whittling down of the number of techniques. Several experts from different schools, two in primarily Muso Shinden Ryu, which is the one I do. Muso Shinden Ryu means divine vision, which captures this abstract spiritual quality of Japanese swordsmanship. The other one is Muso Shinden Jiken Ishin Ryu, which has another kind of transcendent quality to it. But those are the two big schools of swordsmanship. They're slightly different in technique, but all promotions done through certainly the United States Kendo Federation, they begin by doing these standard forms as just a common element, so that you can judge people from different traditions, and they're very focused on the basics. So I'll show you some of these and go through the techniques and also some of the, I guess, the spiritual qualities or the self-developmental qualities that go with Iaido. While I'm getting ready here, the display of swords. Any reason why I would display the sword with the edge, with the hilt facing in that direction versus the other direction? Anybody? Yes, that's, broadly speaking, that's accurate. Yeah.
Would have it on the right side because they would pull it out of. Sorry, it's the other way. They were right-handed.
Yeah.
So most of them had it.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
most people are right-handed. And that's the reason why the Japanese are right-handed. 95% of people are right-handed. So it's really the simplest.
Yeah, the most accurate answer does deal with that practical consideration, along with the peace versus warlike times, and also there are class considerations. Like Japan is an extremely hierarchical, or was, it still is, but extremely hierarchical and class conscious. Why would somebody display a sword so that it's more difficult to pick up? If you're assuming you're right-handed, it's easier to pick it up this way, right? Why would they display it in the opposite way? And they're not left-handed. What would a high-ranking samurai have that others don't have? True. And he'd also have retainers. He would have supporters who would be the first ones to deal with enemies who were attacking him. So the statement might be, I don't have to have immediate access to my sword because I have all these retainers to fight for me. Yeah, that's another. Japanese swordsmanship is permeated by symbolism of all kinds, and that's one of them. So I'll run through. Let me see. I've got, yeah, I think I have enough time to get through all of them. There are 12 of them. The first 8 were devised in 1969 by several committees from different traditions. So these forms you'll see are they represent the major sword schools. There are 4 in total. The 2 I mentioned plus 2 slightly more obscure ones. Testing in the Iaido. How long does a typical black belt test take? Say, Howard, when you test someone for black belts, any idea how long does the test usually take? 30 plus minutes. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone do longer testing than 30 minutes for Shodan? Mine took.
It's like an hour.
Yeah, I recall mine taking an hour-ish. Yeah, that's right. And you'll find other. I don't see it as in traditional jiu-jitsu much, but you'll find other very hardcore schools where it takes hours, and it's a sign of endurance to be able to go through hours of testing. And I question the value of that, but I that's not knowing as much as I should about that before judging them. But in the Iaido, it's entirely centralized. All promotions go through the All United States Kendo Federation. You can't just test in your dojo and have that be a recognized rank. To get rank recognized by this organization, it has to be it's usually a biannual large event, like it's a seminar and promotion event. In this organization, they'll choose a different part of the United States every year to try to get everybody involved. Despite the one I went to was in Idaho, so they're in Idaho, they're all over the place. And they'll typically bring over several sensei from Japan. That's the other challenge, is that the highest ranking sensei, those who are capable of promoting to higher ranks, tend to be ethnically, not just ethnically Japanese, but Japanese citizens. And so you have to bring them over from Japan. And if you reach very high levels like 7th or 8th Dan, and that's as high as rankings go in Iaido, at least this form of Iaido, and in Kendo, as far as I know. If you get really high, they won't come to you. You have to fly over to Japan and test in Japan. So you'd think that would show, it does show commitment to buy a plane ticket and often repeatedly test for these things. The failure rate for 8th Dan is something like 95%. So it's common, if not universal, to test more than once for 8th Dan. And you compare that with what the AJA and a lot of jiu-jitsu dojos do, which is black belt, Shodan level tends to be a very big deal in the United States. And that's not just with jiu-jitsu. We see Shodan much more significant as, frankly, Japanese martial artists generally do. It's not, I can't speak universally. But once you reach Shodan, say in the AJA, you keep training, you keep holding classes, you teach class, you teach at seminars, you write articles. That's seen as great, and then you'll be promoted. You can assume that you'll go up. It's not purely based on technique, whereas with Iaido and Kendo, as far as I know, it's very, very, very largely based on technique. That they're not going to give you a 7th or 8th Dan because you spent 30 or 40 years doing swordsmanship and are loyal and didn't go take up another hobby. You have to be really serious, and it's a true distinction to get 8th Dan. The head of the school I mainly trained in, he was Japanese, but he was an American citizen, but ethnically Japanese, and he was an immigrant, but had lived in the United States for like 30 years. It took him 3 or 4 tries to get 8th Dan in Iaido. Fly over to Japan, fail again. That's part of what they're testing, the determination look, you failed for the third time after flying to Japan. You may not know exactly what you did wrong. A lot of Japanese judges can be not as forthcoming, like, oh, just fix this and fix that and you'll be fine. It's not that clear cut. They want to see you go figure out what you've done wrong. And so it's something like a 5% pass rate. He was the first, I think, American, I forget his distinction. He might have been one of the first Americans of regardless of ethnic background, but he was one of, or the first American to reach that level. And he was in his 50s when he got that. So testing up through second or third dan takes how long? That's why I asked about how long it takes to test for Shodan. Half hour that's pretty, I mean, I hear more an hour. Hour seems common. Half hour to hour and a half would be embracing a lot of schools. The Ido testing for Shodan and Nidan and Sandan takes 6 minutes. So in 6 minutes, you have to bow in, perform 5 random techniques out of 12. So it's not, you know the range of what you're going to be tested on. And it's not like 100 techniques, which we might see in some jiu-jitsu tests where some sensei might insist you do all these obscure things. You know what you're going to be tested on in the Ido, and you just work hard at perfecting as well as you can these 12 essential forms. If you go over 6 minutes, chances are you'll fail. If you go way below 6 minutes, like you're rushing everything to make sure you're going to get it, you may fail also because you just look rushed. Rei Shiki. Anybody here ever heard that word, Japanese word? Rei Shiki. Rei. What is Rei? Yeah, bowing. Rei Shiki means etiquette in Japanese. Hugely significant in Iaido. I've seen people fail Shodan tests because of not gross violations, but just kind of being sloppy, where they're not aware of what their sword's doing, or they're just kind of being casual about placing their sword down. That can cause you to fail. Form is all important. So this testing happens and competition happens with two competitors doing the same form side by side. And the group of judges, they're usually 3, sometimes 5 for really high ranks. They'll be sitting at a table, and they'll have flags. I think one is red, one's white, and they'll have the competitors go through the same form, and they'll judge one as better than the other. And then so the loser gets eliminated. Then it's single elimination. But for testing, it's the same essential setup. You're standing, judges are seated in a line. You enter. I'm not sure the directions is that important, but you're essentially coming into this area where there's a line that's your reference on the mat, or it's more common to do Iaido on bare wood. This is fine. It's not ideal, but this will definitely work. You come in, and there's Rei. First thing, bowing. Even in watered down, more casual circumstances, most martial arts are going to have some form of bowing. So there's Rei, respect, bowing to the judges. You're sitting down in Seiza, and to do that in a Hakama, you have to split the Hakama to do this. Okay. And again, it's vital not to seem rushed. You're controlling your breathing. When you're testing, of course, you're nervous, and that's part of this, is the self-development that goes into controlling your nerves. You're controlling the Sageo. You're not just sort of taking your sword and putting it down here. There's always a sense of propriety and low-key control of things. So you're lining up your Sageo with your sword, bowing to the judges. Movements tend to be first left, then right, in order. So it's left hand first, right. Your hands are making an arrow shape. You're bowing about 4 to 6 inches down. 46 inches from the mat. Right, left. It's all very programmatic. Take the Sageo, and you're lifting your sword up, not in some radical sort of wasteful manner. Everything is about low-key, minimal movement of your sword and yourself. If you go to YouTube and Google katana, you will come up with dozens of people doing crazy, florid, maniacal katana stuff with all this spinning and totally antithetical to the spirit of the Iaido, and a lot of other Japanese martial arts where it's all about minimalism, minimal effort, not minimal effort, but the sense of showing off is absolutely what's going to get you to fail or be seen as some show off. First thing is getting your sword in your belt, and you're not looking at any of this. You're showing familiarity with how to tie your Sageo into your belt, and this is just some little knot that's very easy to untie. So it's not gonna keep your sword from being torn away from you if some enemy is grabbing it, but it's enough to control it during the testing. So you're here. You now have 3.5 minutes to get through stuff. I'm not timing myself, but I'll go through some of the fundamental kata. First one is extremely simple. It's called Mai, which means forward, and critical. We were talking about it. I was talking about it with someone, but the ideal of in Iaido echoes the ideal in a lot of martial arts, where the best battle or the best confrontation is the one where you don't have to draw a weapon, you don't have to take your gun out, you don't have to take your sword out of its sheath. That's the saying in Iaido. I'm not going to try the Japanese. I'll tell you in a minute, but that's the key. If you're a master of your ki energy, your spiritual energy, then you might have an opponent stand down and not draw his sword and be compelled to draw your sword and respond to him. So here you're sitting across from an imaginary opponent who's sitting in this same position, and you sense that he's going to draw his sword on you, and so you immediately come up, both hands simultaneously, and you start rising from your from your knees, and you're bring your toes out so you've got more live foot action. And again, you're focusing right in his face to try to convince him that, or show him that you're going to respond. And ideally, he backs down, goes on his way. But if he continues, you draw your sword. That was a little sloppy, but you see this is about right at eye level. So you're cutting him across his eyes. You're advancing a little forward and cutting down. So he's bent over, you're cutting through his back. And then the next step is called chibori, which means flicking the blood off the blade. Obviously, there's no real blood. This is all your imagination creating the opponent and creating this scenario where you've got no real blood, no real opponent, but you're convincing the judges and your audience that something's there. So you're bringing the sword up here to your temple. And in this case, chibori is flicking the blood off like that. You're switching your knee position and resheathing your sword, which is called noto. And this entire time, you're thinking of ki energy and controlling it. And there's a sense of bringing the ki energy back to your center. Your tanden is the seat of ki energy, and the sword is conveniently located right near it. So you're bringing all this energy back in. Keeping your eye on your dead or wounded opponent, rising up, and then walking away. That's the simplest kata. You can see a great swordsman or a very experienced swordsman by a very simple draw like that, by its smoothness, far smoother than I did, and the accuracy of his cutting. I've only got 3 minutes left. I'll do a couple of my favorite kata. Number 3 has somebody coming from the side. So you're again you're in Seiza, you sense somebody coming this way, and you're alerted to it. You're exerting key energy. Bring your left foot up, blocking his overhead attack. Very common mistake is to have your sword back here, which can be the difference between life and death, because the sword could come right through you, cut you, have to be up here. And so blocking here, he's going in this direction, cutting down across his back, and that's it. And I've got my legs reversed. The shibori, or the flicking the blood off, it's not flicking this time, it's more draining off this side. It's switched over here. And your noto, your resheathing, is kind of an underhand thing. I've got like 2 minutes. Okay. Standing kata. A favorite would be, you are invited into a palace or whatever, some big building as a guest, with two strangers next to you who are escorting you. Eric, I'll use you as the host, who has invited me to your palace. It turns out, though, that he wants to kill me, and his assistants are there to help facilitate that. So you're walking along, these two people by your side. Another way of seeing the scenario is walking down a hallway with two hallways going off to the side where you can't see anything. So walking along, you sense something's going wrong on the side. You feel that somebody's drawing on you here, either the person standing next to you or some hidden person. And while keeping my eyes on Eric, or the person who's standing in front of me, you address this person first, cut him, then turn back to my treacherous host who invited me in here, put pressure on him. I have to worry about this person though. So cutting that person, turning back to Eric, and cutting Eric too, for having invited me to this assassination of myself. Then you're up here, you're bringing your sword way up, partly to be able to see what may be going on here on the sides. These people might not be dead, in which case you could address them. But then, assuming they're not moving, shibori, you get the blood off that way. That's that one. Another more advanced one is you walk into an X shape with 4 people ready to attack you. The first person is here. And this is where you start to use the other parts of the sword. This guy goes to about this position. He's about to draw his sword. So you come in with the suka and break his hand or prevent him from drawing the sword. You unsheath it by you hold the sword out here. Then you come back, stab this person, finish that person off, then continue around here. And the final person's here, cutting him down, and that's it. And then you walk back. A very simple one. I'm out of time, but last one is a very short one. The last kata to be added to the 12. You're standing right in front of someone who's about to draw his sword on you. You sense there's really something wrong. So this is the only kata that goes backward dramatically. He's coming at you. You draw right here and advance right in, cut him, and then you step back and flick the blood off that way. So that's a taste of Iaido. The goals are, it's called kind of superficially moving meditation, which a lot of kata-based martial arts can be. It also makes you conceive of life and death situations, situational awareness. We talk about that all the time in practical circumstances. You have to be aware, if it's a dark street, that if you have wonderful martial arts skills and defeat one person, there could be 2 friends of his right around the corner that you're not aware of because you're not keeping your eyes out or just having that sense. In Iaido, you have to cultivate or create imaginary opponents out of nothing. You have to give a sense if I'm stabbing someone here, it's not just, you can't just pull out like that. You've got the blade right under his sternum, so you pull it out after having been inserted a couple inches, then you do that. You imagine a real human at the end of your sword. That's all I've got. Any questions? I could go. This is a Japanese swordsmanship is an infinitely complicated subject you could go on for days about, but questions? I know lunch is next. Yes, John.
You guys encourage or silent?
Depends on the school of swordsmanship. For the standard kata, there are no ki-eyes. Once you get to beyond second or third dan, you go beyond the standard 12 and you do what are called koryu, which means old forms, pre-Meiji restoration forms. That becomes more school specific, and some schools do have loud ki-eyes where, yes, you would think that with all the force that goes into a cut of a sword, that ki-eyeing would give some emphasis, and some schools do recognize that. Another form of swordsmanship is tamishigiri. Tamishigiri is cutting bamboo or wrapped up mats as a way of showing the sharpness of your sword and your technique. You know, that's another Google. You go to Google and you see all these people who are very advanced cutting these amazingly thick things. But that shows another type of skill. Some schools emphasize that and make it mandatory. Others don't. It's very school specific. If you're interested in Iaido or any aspect of Japanese swordsmanship, I mean, if you have a really narrow interest in tamishigiri or some other thing, you can just Google that term. A good place to start is the All United States Kendo Federation, which is recognized all over the world as promoting people and recognizing rank in Kendo, Iaido, and Jodo, which is using the Jo staff. Those are their 3 weapons. Good place to start. That gives you a lot of background about all forms of swordsmanship. And you're most likely to find Kendo, even in the United States, Kendo is probably the most popular, where there's the competitive spirit. Young children get involved and they have a sense of winning and losing and all that. Usually you'll find schools of Iaido. They'll do Iaido in Kendo schools as something they really encourage because it gets you in contact with an actual sword rather than a bamboo stick. So thank you. I've gone over time here. That's it. We've got lunch now.
So I think I stepped away, but I think Tyler explained the little delay in the food, so we're just switched a couple things around. Those of you that don't know, my name's Will Harris. I have studied in Baltimore. Primarily got my start with Budo Shin Jiu-Jitsu. My original instructor actually was Jim Howard, who studied with Dennis McCurdy under Bill Fromm. If you know your Budo Shin history, they were the guys who started Budo Shin and the AJA. Since my latest instructor had passed away, I actually started studying more and more under Professor Tony Maynard out of North Carolina. He has a style that he calls American Combat Jiu-Jitsu. Do you guys know who Professor Wally J is by any chance? All right, so Professor J created a style called Small Circle Jiu-Jitsu. And he was one of Professor Maynard's instructors, and the Small Circle Jiu-Jitsu very heavily influences American Combat Jiu-Jitsu. There's a lot of, just Google Wally J if you don't know who he is, and there will be videos of him dancing people around the mat with just a finger. So there's some practical applications that I like to use with these things. Right, okay, this is great, but how do I use this in real life? So that's what I want to work on tonight. We're mainly going to go from pushes. Then we're going to kind of take some of those concepts and move them on to something else. That's why these chairs are here. So you may want to, when you're applying these with your partner, you can try it with a little bit of force, just because you kind of feel it, but take it easy on your partners because it does hurt your fingers after a while. We generally, when we do these, grab 2 fingers. I heard somebody ask Professor Maynard, why 2 fingers? It's like, well, if you grab 1, it breaks too easily. If you grab 3, they can resist a little bit too much. So we're going to start with, I want to actually dumb it down a little bit. Your reaction to whatever is given is going to be the same. The end result is going to differ depending on what you wind up with and which hand they use to push. But your basic reaction is always going to look like this. It's going to be the same thing every time. John, can I borrow you for a second? One thing that I've seen, or I've heard Professor Maynard and one of his instructors, AJ Farmer, who some of you guys may know, emphasize if you see somebody teaching small circle or talking about small circle and they've got a grip like this, they really aren't that skilled with it. You usually just have very little grip on it. Right? For every joint lock, you need 3 things, ideally, if you're going to control somebody. Right? You need a fulcrum, you need a lever, and sometimes you need a base if you want to isolate it. Sometimes you move the base away if you're trying to move somebody around the mat, if you're doing all this kind of stuff. You know, you can move somebody around quite a bit with that, and down to the mat, up and down. So we're going to take this from a push. Let's get everybody on the same side. So I'm kind of. You okay? We'll start with and we're going to work with one-handed pushes. If someone comes up and gives you a little shove, in reality, it doesn't matter if it's one hand, the left hand, both hands. It doesn't matter. We're going to work with one of them. He's going to come in with the right hand push. That's what I'm looking for. My reaction, like I said, it's always going to be this. I may be fast enough to where my reaction, that you all have this natural startle flinch reaction, right? You want to try to incorporate that. Like it might not be your pretty, traditional karate blocks. It might be more of a Krav style block or something like that. Or just someone comes in to push and you back away. He comes in to push, and I'm fast enough that I get between his palm and my chest. So I've got these 2 fingers. What I want to do from here, circle it around here and lock here. So I've got 2 directions of motion, right? Here's my base, my fulcrum down here, and there's my lever. And even though I've only got 2 fingers, I'm working all 4. Couple key points on this. You want to max out the range of motion. It'll be different depending on who you're working on. On a horizontal plane, you'll feel it. Once you're maxed out there, then you roll it up. Right, so we're maxing out this way and then rolling it. It is not a lift. Right, we're just working here, small circle with the wrist there. Right, so he comes in again. I'll let you see from the other side. He comes in again, capturing here. He's naturally going to retract, right? He's going to recoil. So I'm going to come in with him. This base that I'm creating, notice it's below my chin. Don't let it get up here. To here. Yeah, just kind of here. Boom. There you go. And then, yep, you got him. And with some folks who are more limber, you might have to crank this a little further and then roll it up.
I'll cry when you do the left shoulder. Right shoulder's okay. I want to catch these.
Yeah, ideally they'll lay across there and take this hand and lay it across the back of his.
Where's it here?
There you go. That way we're isolating everything down there. Comes in the push. I'm here, but you notice I'm on the back of his hand. Now I'm grabbing his ring finger and pinky, and I'm flipping it here. I could stop here. We do a bunch of different things here, but actually, what do I want to do? We'll roll through it that way. We'll take it through this vertical place here. And again, notice my fingers are out of the way. I don't want to brace these joints if I can get a good grip on everything. Generally, depends on your hand size compared to your partner size. Your fulcrum's probably going to be your ring finger. It might be your pinky here. And I want to get as high up on this finger as possible to make that lever as long as possible. I like to keep it vertical. Right, his pinky's up to the ground, thumb's down to the ground. That'll make him go down. If I want him to go side to side, then I can do on different planes. But for this purpose, I want to keep it vertical. Next, I'm going to come around and capture this thumb, stick around into this chicken wing. Just come along. So, let's see, might be easier from this side. Come in to push. I'm here. There. Like I said, everything, our first move is always going to be this. I'm here. I have this finger lock. Might be sweating, bleeding. I don't know. Might be losing this grip. It's not someplace I want to stay very long. I'm going to come up and grab this thumb. Let his fingers drop on my forearm. Walk around his elbow. And tuck it in. Now this, think like a motorcycle grip accelerator. I'm just going to roll that here. It's on the wrong side. It's got to be like a English bike or something. Here. You should be able to walk him around anywhere you need to from here. If you want to add more, you've got nerves. You can push the head. A lot of other things that will amplify this. All right. Little shortcut that might help, because sometimes people have trouble getting that angle. Is once you know you're going to switch to it, turn his head a little bit. Come up and hook his thumb with your thumb. Both our palms are up. Then I walk around, tuck that elbow in here. Okay? Give that a try. The same motion. I like things where you can have one reaction to something and it works against multiple defenses. So, John, can I borrow you again? I love just another aside. I overheard somebody say, "Really simple, but it's effective," or something to that effect. That's one of Maynard's sayings. You'll see a lot of his shirts. It's devastation through simplicity. So again, he comes in with that left push. This time I'm a little bit slower. So now I've got his index finger and middle finger. Problem is, when I go to do this, I don't really have a whole lot in terms of a finger lock. So I've got to change this. So what I'm going to change it to is coming up, capturing here. So I can either take him down to the Shihonagi, or if I want to do a standing submit, I can come around here and work this. Up to you. If you're going to do the Shihonagi, make sure you check your mat space, make sure you got room to fall. We've got plenty of mat. Nobody's even using this corner. So left push comes in again. Again, I did this, and I wanted to show this because it's not always ideal, but I can still work with it. I'm still training the same motion. Hover, flip. Not a whole lot. Sneak up underneath and hook this. Right? And from here, you just take them down if you want. All right? Gonna work through that? This might get a little harder to see. I'll tell you what, for the first demonstration, I'll go over on that side. But then we can use these chairs to finish. So I think you'll be able to see a little bit better over here. Thank you, sir. Carson, how about you? So if I come up to this guy and I need to get him out of the chair for whatever reason, could be anything. It could be an airplane. It could be a church pew. It could be a PTA meeting, whatever it is. And for whatever reason, I'm the guy that everyone's looking forward to. Hey, can you get this guy out of here? So at first, what I'm going to ask him, right? I want to talk to him first, see if I can't reason with him. He starts getting a little belligerent and tries to push me away. So I'm grabbing these fingers, circling around here. Say, stand up, sir. Walk with me. Let's come over here. And then we walk him. And if you're a fan of the original Roadhouse, you'll smile and you'll be nice. So again, I'm getting here, talking to him. I was like, sir, come on. He puts hands away. He goes to push me. That's when I grab these fingers. Almost doesn't matter, but I'm on this side. I grabbed his ring and pinky, so I know I'm going to the outside. Good news is it won't matter which way you're going, because we've trained doing this for everyone. But I notice, oh, his arm's going straight. I'm going to straighten it up, lift him up, and then we walk. I purposely chose him because he's so goddamn tall. Or he's so tall. It still works. Doesn't matter how tall your partner is. Maynard makes one of the other things he likes to talk about is when he was a younger man, and he had big power lifters and guys like that training with him, and defensive tactics trainers working with him. He did what they called big man jiu-jitsu, picking up people, slamming them into the ground all the time. Then as he started working with kids and women and smaller statured folks, he realized they weren't able to do some of the stuff he was teaching. Then that's when Wally J's influence started coming in. He started realizing it doesn't matter. She could do this to me. She could do this to me. It doesn't matter. It's all very small stuff. All right. So this first one, well, I'll show you both in case you get the other side. Say he pushes with that other hand. I get up here again, I grabbed. I've got two fingers. I may not necessarily know which one I've got, but I start my motion and I start to see, oh, where I am. And I'm here. Now I won't focus on this base quite as much. I'll give a little bit so he stands up. Stand up. Then once he's up, then I can apply the place. And we walk. And we be nice. All right. So I want to show you both so you can work on both while you're over there on the chairs. So I think we have enough. You spread them out a little bit. You should have enough for like if there's 2 or 3 people working together to alternate. And I'll work up and down the line and help you out. Stubborn guy or girl who's sitting in that chair, I'm not going anywhere. How do I get these fingers? This usually requires a partner. So hopefully you're working in tandem. So John, can I borrow you and wherever Carson went? So he and I, presumably, have worked together. We know what each other's going to do. But communication is going to become key on this. So I'm not going to give up one lock until I know my partner's got his lock set. So let's pick a chair. Have a seat. Carson. Like, sir, I think you've had too much to drink. I think you need to kind of go. Hide your fingers from me. Like, so this one I want to show you requires that you have access behind. So where I'm going to come, he doesn't want to give me his fingers, that's fine. I'm going to come back here. Stand up, sir. And then when he reacts, my partner grabs his fingers. And he tells me, steady, got him. Then I can let go. Then if need be, I can catch up. Whoops. And lock the other side. Oh no, I got the wrong hand. Here. And we can both walk him. And we will both be nice. All right? So you got to have communication with whoever your partner is, because I don't want to let go of this nerve technique until I know he's got something set, because then he's just going to go off, right? He's going to start swinging and it's going to be on. What I'm doing, there's a lot of different points we can push on. There's the nerve behind the ear. I don't want that. I want to get under this jawbone. I'm going in with my thumb and up. Here. It's not pleasant. I don't know if any of you guys were in Shrewsbury a few years ago. Professor Ernie Cates was up here. And he's who I learned this from. He said he used it a lot. He had trained a lot of Marines and a lot of law enforcement people in his day. And one of his assignments was crowd control in the 60s. And people were sitting, blocking, and they had to get somebody up. And it's very easy to just get somebody up. And then if, my partner needs help, sit back down. And then go help my partner. Much better than whipping out a club, starting bashing people or whatever. Average person looking at it doesn't know. It's like, stand up, sir. Oh, look, he just stood up. Partner comes in, gets a hold of a finger lock, tells me when he's got it. Got him. Then I can let him go and I can come back around. And if need be, I can get another lock. Whatever I like, right? And then we walk in. And then if need be, either one of us can break off and deal with something else if we have to. All right? So you probably have to turn the chairs a little bit because there's not really room behind these chairs to do that. So just kind of maybe turn them all to face that way. Or we've got a couple up here and a couple over there to use too. I don't know that we'll necessarily have a lot of time to practice this, but I want to share with you guys a drill that we do in ACJ to help practice grabbing fingers, because it can be a hard thing to do, a hard thing to get used to. One of the problems with the drill is that when people start practicing it, they tend to speed up, and it's not really a race. It's just kind of more of a thing to figure out what I can grab. So there's actually 6 parts to it. I want to show you the whole thing. So it'll give you something you can practice on back at your dozos or with your partners. How are you? It almost looks like a game of patty cake. What we're doing is it's a steady drill where we're tapping here, underneath, and back, and then we switch hands. So this is the motion that we start all these from. And there are different finger techniques we can grab. They're actually not all finger techniques. So the first one is from the position number 1. I'm here. And you'll recognize this one because we did it tonight, or today. I'm just here. Number 2 actually starts from the low position. And not really grabbing anything here other than just a handful of hand. Circle up, grab his thumb, work on getting this chicken wing. Number 3, I go back to the top. Just split the wood. Here, I grab these 2 fingers, but you know what? I really wanted the other 2. So I grab here to switch hands. Now, if you want, there is a technique in Katsugo where we just rip there. We're not going to do that. We're going to circle around into this lock that we did earlier today. But it's just a transition. I grabbed this, and for whatever reason, I wanted these instead, so I switched. 2, 3. I mean, that wasn't number 3.
There's an alpha.
Yeah, actually it was. Because 4 is this position. Here. Then we can come around here if I want to, or add a choke. And then 5 and 6, the last 2 are from the top position again, where I'm here. And I'm getting one. That's 6. It's just bringing them down here. 1, 2, 3. What am I missing?
We did this.
Yep. All right, so it's a 5-set technique. So once again, how much time do we have anyway? Just a few minutes. So you guys can work on a little bit if you want, or if you want to. Where are you posting these somewhere?
Yeah.
So you can watch it on the videos and come through. And a lot of times I showed them on the first one. The eventual drill is we're both trying to get one or the other at some point. So we're here. Maybe I grab this hand this time, and I'm here. That's 1. 2 is from the bottom position. It can be the first time through. It can be the second time through. It really doesn't matter. I'm just grabbing, because the drill is to work on grabbing fingers and hands out of midair. 3 goes back to the top. I grab these 2 fingers, actually wanted these 2. I circle around into this one. The next one, we nickname Feed the Beast. I'm here, but I can't really grab anything here, right? So I use this hand to help feed it into this one. Now, in most competition, you can't do small finger locks, right? But you might be in a situation where we're here like this. The hand's right there, but I can't grab it, right? Now I got it. That's the practical application of that. Last one we'll do is again grabbing from the top position, first 2 fingers, and down. And here I can take him to his knees, I can take him flat out like he already went flat out for me. All right, down to your belly. I can hold him here. If you're in law enforcement, you could use this for a cuffing motion. Control him here, down to your belly. Down your belly, sir. You can hold him here, put your other hand behind your back. And then you can go to in the ear, your partner can start cuffing him, then you can bring this one around. Or if you're by yourself, you just drop your knee into his back and pin him while you get your own cuffs on. All right, so that is 5. Come back next year, I'll show you number 6 to add to it. Or if I remember it during lunch, I'll tell you.
Yeah, our salutation is very easy. Take your right hand and put it on your forehead. Say with respect. With respect. I say it a little speak. I can only hear on this ear, not on this ear. Say with respect. With respect. From the heart. From the heart. Guys in the back. No, over here, bro. Come here. All right, ready? Everyone do it with me, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can do it with left leg forward. It doesn't matter. It's still on the right hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because we all karate people, right? So I'm doing this in a karate mode or format. Okay, so when we do it the Filipino way, it's just gonna go like this. I'm done. You guys see it? All right. So right now you gotta see so you appreciate the movement. Because when I go, that's like, oh, what was that? So here, this way you can see. Okay, and then once you have the reps, and then you can hide the movement. Okay. All right. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I heard the question. What is the other hand doing?
Covering your center.
Okay, you can cover your heart. Your center line. Okay. We call this P3. You know, P as in position, 3 as on third hand. You guys know what third hand is? Third hand principle. Can you get the 2 stick real quick? My first hand. His second hand. That's his second hand. That's my second hand. This is my third hand.
Oh.
You guys see my third hand? Okay. Triangle. First hand, second hand, and my third hand. You guys see? This art is also designed for multiple opponents.
Oh.
Just like when you were sitting on the chair, right? Oh, I think he was doing the sword. You got opponent over here, over here, over there, over here. So we are designed also for multiple opponents. So right now I say 2D, so you can learn the movements. Now you're multiple opponent, now you're now in 3D. Maybe 4D, right? Or whatever D you want to take it. Yes? Do you have any questions so far? It's pretty easy when you follow it this way. Okay? Yes? I will go here. See? I can use him as a shield. I can go to here too. Oh, sorry. You guys see? It's very generous art. He gives you $1, we give him $10. Okay? So we don't have a lot of stances. You know, I'm a Taekwondo guy too. See, we have all these front stances. We don't horse stands, back stands. In Filipino martial arts, we don't really have a stance. We have a lot of footwork. Do you guys know? Have you guys seen the Filipino flag somewhere, sometime? You know, he had that eight points. There you go. Oh, I have one too. Yeah. So the 8 points. You guys probably have that too on your art. Okay? So that represents what? The 8 provinces that revolted against Spaniards. Spaniards, not Spanish, all right? Okay? So, what was I saying?
8 provinces. It's the revolt against the Spaniards.
No, before that. What is it? Oh, footwork. our footwork is based on, if you see the center line or the center point or the clock, center point of the clock. Okay, let's call that home. So when you go 45 to the right, we call that angle 1 in the art that I teach. 45 left, it will be what? Angle 2. You go diagonal to the right, 90, that's 3, 4, back 45 right, it's 5, 6, and then 7 will be on top at 12 o'clock, and then you have 6 o'clock as 8. See the 8 points? So the 8 points is our angles of footwork, and also angles of our attack. Okay? So if you get lost, that's your GPS right there. Okay? So when I straight thrust, think of it as the center of the clock. Okay? Boom. Now, what time is that? Let's say 10 o'clock, right? 10 to 2 o'clock. There. Thrust straight out and pull back. Okay? Those are the 3 apex of the triangle. And you use the principle of what? Thrust, slash, thrust, slash, thrust, slash. Principle of palm. Your palm is very, this principle, palm up, palm down, it plays a major role in what we do. Doesn't matter what martial art it is, but you see, I see it while I was sitting there. I see a lot of principle that being used of palm up, palm down, open and close, elevation of attack. From sitting down on the chair and raising him up, right? That's to us, it's elevation. Okay? All right. Now, since you have the angle 1, you guys have a seat so you can see it. Where you at? Where you at? So he's gonna thrust number 1. So now that we know what's gonna be an option for this guy, a thrust number 1, we're gonna counter it with hacking. We don't really block in this art. We deflect. Can you move over a little bit? Or I don't want this thing to fly. Well, can you move back a little bit? No, I'm not gonna make it fly. Okay, so our first movement is when he thrusts when you thrust with your partner, don't thrust it over here. Because you know when I do this, first move, the blade is gonna be outside. So as a feeder, let me feed you. Put the blade down. We'll holster it. So I'm gonna go here. You guys see that? A lot of distraction too, right? Sneaky, very sneaky. All right. Because why? We are designed for multiple opponent. Here's the first one, right? So when you're feeding, do not feed out there.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay? Now holster, draw. 1, boom. So you hack this like a low block. We all do low block, right? Low block and attack at the same time. If you're on a pressure point, hit that pressure point. I'm sorry. You guys got it? You guys got it? If you have that knowledge, you have that skill, right? Because you guys doing this, you probably have more pressure points than me. I just know one pressure point. No, couple of them. Couple of them. Let me share it with you. So you see, this is a pressure point. So one open hand above that is going to be another pressure point. So this is a pressure point. One above that is another pressure point. You guys see it? Oh, there goes your target. That, you know, when we bring him up, there you go. You guys see it? Basic, but one open hand. Above the pressure point that you know, go above that pressure point. Make sure you have a base. Okay? Make sure you have a base on the bottom. Can apply the pressure point. This is a pressure point. You don't have a base. Just like Sensei will. Leverage and fulcrum, right?
Run away.
Yeah. And you have to stay attached. Don't let him go. Okay? You have to stay attached. Especially when there's a blade involved, right? Yes? I try again. So your first move is, you're going to step out on angle what? Angle 1 footwork of the 8 points. And you're going to go 1. You can do this, whatever, or palm strike, karate punch, whatever. It's the entry. Good. That's the first one. Okay? You guys good with that? Yes? It's pretty easy. 1 and 2, I'm gonna go on the other line, on the outside, on the top of it. So I have 1 line, 2nd line. Guys see it? Don't go 1 line and then you're like here. 1 line, you climb up like a ladder. Line 1, line 2. Okay, so your movement is 1, line 2. See, I'm sure I can't reach. I gotta move in. Now moving over here, moving outside. So now I'm using what? The angle 1 and 2 footwork of the 8. Remember? This guy right here and this guy right here. So when he thrusts the first move, 1, I can go here 2 when I switch. See, I didn't leave. I stay attached. When I detach this, I attach this. When I detach this, I attach that. You guys see it? Oh, there you go. There goes your first point that you were talking about. You guys see it? Okay, so my karate movement, my kata, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. You can do it with me. 1, you can do it static. 2, remember, don't disconnect. When you disconnect, you got to connect with the other one. Okay, yes? That's line 2, and then line 3. Where's the line 3 goes? Underneath the elbow. So 1, see my line? Where I hit the pressure point? This is my line 2. My line 3. How many lines do I have? 3. So 1, 2, 3. When you get to 3, there goes your base. Attack that. Elbow it. Okay? Okay, 1. So you're hacking and striking at the same time. Not hacking first and then strike. Because when you do that, what's happening? No, what's happened here? Before I do this, there's an opening, right? Yes, there's a gap that he can what? Fill in, right? When do we hit? In between the what? In between the beat, right? So we have to stay offensive, not defensive. Once I make this connection, it's go to me. It's go. It's green light. Okay? Because I'm not gonna stay attached. I'm not gonna detach. When I detach, I attach the other one. When I detach this, I attach that. So I'm always attached. You guys see it? And you do that too. You do that too. I'm pretty sure. So 1, 2, line 2, line 3. And what's 4? Elbow strike. Okay? Oh. All right, let's try that. I feed you, everybody. You against me. How about that? Ready? Here we go. That's why I told you to spread out so you can see me. All right, here we go. Okay, if you initiate the move before I attack, can you move over before I trust you? So now, what am I going to do? I'm going to trust you where he was. I'm going to follow you. That's it. So timing. Here we go. Good. Hack it, palm strike, or whatever. When you strike, it's direct, okay? All right, so that's in line 1 on my arm. Now line 2, with the one that you just strike me with, go on angle 2 footwork. Yes. Are you still attached? Okay, now with the other hand, catch the elbow. Good. Elbow strike. Nice. Do it again. See? It's not that bad after all, right? It's not that complicated. Ready? Here we go. 1. Good. Okay. Stay right there, guys. Stay right there. There's a position of your hand that's that you're not sure how to position. Okay, sir. Come on up. Give me a thrust. When you don't know how your hand is supposed to position, put a blade on your hand. The blade will tell you what position of your hand will be. You know why? Blade never lies. Blade never lies. I hashtag that bad boy. So that way you know the position. of your hand. Okay? Sometimes you position the wrong way, and then it's, oh, sorry. And then you strip it. You see what I mean? So you have to know the position of your hand. How? If you're not sure, put the blade on your hand. I will tell you how you position your hand. You guys got it? Okay, won't you feed me as I do? Do it with me. Feed one. Here's the first move. See my hand? It's palm down. Why palm down? Move over here for me. Why palm down? Press again. Here's what you're doing. You're counter thrusting at the same time. For training, we use our hand right now, right? So we don't say empty hand when we do our empty hand. Bladed hand. That's what we call it, bladed hand. So we operate our hand like a blade. You guys got it? All right. So when I have a blade, it tells me how the position of my hand is, right? All right. Now like this. Go up, thrust. See, how can I thrust? How can I slash? Remove it. You see it? So the blade will tell me the position of my hand. You guys got it? Look, how many hands do you see? How many blades do you see? How many? Three? It's a lot of blades, right? And two more here. You guys got it? Okay, so let's continue. So one, don't forget the footwork, okay? Step back. 2, 3. Good. If you think about the high, low, high that you were saw earlier, say right. Oh, I say left, left, left. Say left, right, left. So look what I'm doing on this arm. I hit it with the left, I hit it with the right, I hit it with the left. There goes your upper three, the one you guys doing earlier in 3D. You guys see it? All right. So we're just taking it on this dimension or this plane. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 1. Remember left, right. 2. Remember the position of your hand? What do? Put a blade on your hand. That will tell you what position of your hand is. Not like this. That's it. Because when I want to accelerate the distance, now the second move here is now accelerating the same move. You guys see it? Yes? What's your intent? It's all about your intent, right? All right. Again, 1. Which leg is forward? Right leg. 2. Where are you? Home. I'm home. Let me come out again. Out. Where are you? Elbow? Yes. Now, attack it. Watch this. Principle of attachment. Stay attached, right? Watch this. When I go here, the body goes down. Look at me. Don't look at me because I have my fingers. So we can do eye rake from here. Yes? All right. So we add that. So the flow is 1, 2, 3, 4. Raise it up. See here, look. I can't reach, right? Look at this. 3. Yeah, you guys know all this stuff. You guys know that already, more than me, right? So what you learn, what I'm sharing with you is an entry. It's like buffet, right? When you enter, it's like buffet. Pick what you want, right? Yeah.
That's what I meant when I said Christmas earlier.
All right.
It's better to give.
It's better to give than receive, right? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Raise it up. 5. Let me give you an eye rake. 6. Okay, since we're already here, take his energy by sliding this hand down. What is that, 6? Huh? You guys like elbow? Let's put that elbow upward. Okay? All right, there you go. All right, we got lucky 7. All right, there we go. 1. Thank you, you can do it. See, tools. Right here, see? Philippines. In the Philippines, we don't have much. But what we have, we make the best of it. That's a culture. See, you guys were all uniform when I walked in. Like, man, I'm just wearing, you know? I was like, man, everybody's wearing uniform. It looks good, very good, very good to see. So here, right here. 1, see ya? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is 5? Stay attached. Raise it up. What do? I rake. Grab the wrist. Now, see, your left hand from controlling, pop that elbow, strike that upward elbow. Okay, yes? All right, thank you. All right, spread out a little bit so I can see the form. Ready? 1, 2. Which hand? Which hand is attached? Right, good. And what's the position of your hand? Palm to the side, palm up or palm down? What is it? Palm down. If you're not sure, what do? Put a blade on your hand. That will tell you exactly the position. What number? 3. Control the elbow. 4. Hit that. Raise it up. 5. Grab my wrist. 6. Elbow strike upward. There you go. There you go, guys. Pretty easy. Oh, we have 1/3. Done. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I saw a little campo over there. That's why we use the principle of combat. Counter on motion. Can you kick me first? Can you thrust first? Did I see it? I'm already there before he thrusts. Or whatever he was doing. Same thing with the stick. Can you hold the stick? I'm going to use angle 1 and 2. Okay? Angle 1 and 2. Okay. Where is the angle 1 and 2 coming from? Footwork, right? Yes? So this is diagonal 1 and a diagonal 2. Nothing fancy. Right? Angle 1 and 2. Okay? So relate to, if I were you, I would go backwards. You already have the hand techniques that we want to lock the person, to control the person. Now you guys got to go reverse. If you go on this on this route, so we take your empty hand and then we put a weapon on our hand. Then there goes the like to steal. I'll steal your movement and put it on the Kali way, or Filipino martial arts way.
Oh.
Okay. What are we doing? That's true. Come on up, sir.
So there's 7 point.
I'm just checking to see if they're paying attention. 1,
Better be paying attention.
2. You guys see? Can you see a pressure point? You're hitting a pressure point too. Do you have a pressure point skill too? That's from your blocking, right? A block is what? Bunch of cameras around. How many times did you hit him? He hit me 2 times already. But in your eyes, what? What's the evidence says? He's blocking. You're hitting a pressure point, by the way. That's a pressure point. Oh, do you see that? How do you correct, sir? All right, there you go. So now you're offensive versus defensive. And on top of that, look how generous that is, right? Second, another pressure point. Make the line a little more higher, because, yes, there you go, sir. And then control the elbow. And when you detach, see, he never left. When you leave with this, leave with the elbow. No, don't retract. Go back here, huh? So you're here. Where was this? Come up, right? You control the elbow. Don't retract. You know why? Retract. That gives me an opening. You accelerate. Right? Boom, yes. Now, that's another pressure point. Go ahead, I rake. No, I rake with this hand. No, this one.
All right.
Yeah, don't detach because I'm going to do this number. You guys see the yes.
Okay.
There you go. Good. Good. And then, there you go. And then, there you go, sir. All right, there you go. Now, for drill sake, pull it back and get ready for, that's it. Thrust. And then I bisect the line with the right. It's like we do this, right? Instead of putting it here, we go here, underneath. Same movement. Yes? And then, when he clears this, no, from the outside, good. Where's the door? The door is over here, right? When you grab someone, so you put the door that way. Yes? Okay, when he does that, I accelerate to elbow strike. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. That work? Okay, go. Thank you. All right. Now you come back here. Oh, give him a hand. All right. Thank you, sir. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's 5? Irate. 6. Take his energy. Pop that. Strike that. Yeah, got it? Okay, now pull. See how I move?
I have to find you.
He has to find me, right? All right, so I move and I block his strike with a middle knife hand block. That's my transition of middle knife hand block. Instead of over there, I'm bisecting over there because I'm your opponent. That's it? Now, how does he enter from here? No. Clear it so you can thrust. So you can continue with your thrust. Right? That can be the juggler if I'm saying like this, right? When you pull it, look. That's it. So I'm here, he clears it. Slow. What do I do? Pull back. Thrust.
That's where it was reversed. Oh, okay.
That's it?
Back to the 2.
Yes or no? Okay, one more time. We're here. I like moving around.
Very difficult.
Right? Because principle of what? Footwork.
Movement.
Principle of what? Multiple opponents. I don't want to be over here and operate and then get stabbed in the back. There goes our karate training, martial art training, right? So pull it. No, pull first. Pull. Now attack. That's it? He's going to clear it from the outside. What I do is fire it, another upward elbow. You guys got it? Never hold the blade like this. Grab that. See it? Oh, there you go. You're sitting down on the chair again. You guys see it? Yes? It's just different variation of it. See it? Now here. Grab that.
Yeah.
Now let the what? Let the fingers do the what?
Walking.
Walking. All right. I think that's how much time we have. But my target today was to get at least 1 out of 3. So if you can do that, and then you use that as your entry. Okay? What's your name, sir?
Dominic.
Dominic, come on up. So Dominic, can you give him a blade? Oh, he's got one. Oh, you see? He's got one. Look what I'm doing. He's got one. Don't stay there if you got one. You guys see? All right. So one. Trust over here. Yeah, that's it. You guys got it so far? Okay. So what you can do here, you guys see? I decorated it. Can you go down for me?
Yep.
All right. You guys see it? Simple wrist lock, right? Where's John? Come here. Come on up. Oh, thank you, sir. Because he's a young guy. He can flip, right? I hope so. One. Remember that? Back in the day, a simple front kick, right? So what is that? It goes on what? Counter on motion before attack time. That's combat. See here? What happened? See the stoppage for a moment? That's when I... Where you going? Up. And then you all do this, right? Hey, you guys, you're more skilled than me in that, right? See how where it goes? Uh-huh. You can punch too. Uppercut. See ya? Uppercut. See ya? Guys, see? Same thing, right? Or knee. See? Same, right? Same movement. So I heard today, one technique, multiple application. In Kali, we say one technique, multiple distraction. Same difference. That's it. So you can do a lot from one. So how many do you need? If you have, you know how, let me share this with you too. You know how Filipinos spell staff? S-T-A-F-F, right? You know, Filipinos, we don't have F. Until you guys came over. We have S-T-A-P-P. That's how we spell staff. What is that got to do with what we do? What do you got to have? You got to have speed, right? Too? Speed? What's T stands for? Say timing. Speed, timing, accuracy, precision, and power. S-T-A-P-P. Where you learned something from me today. I shared something with you today. Combat, counter motion before attack time. And now you learn how to spell S-T-A-P-P the Filipino way. Okay? All right. My name is Tuhan Bobby. Take what you remember and put it on what you already know. Lock the person at the end if you feel comfortable locking the person. It's just an entry. How do you bridge from long range to medium range or to the range that you're comfortable? You guys got it? Do you feel the time is up? I can feel the time is up. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. With respect, from the heart.